Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So, time to get going, time to get planting. Getting a bit of a late start this morning. We had some difficulty on the server. Why? Oh, I know why. Because I need to turn on the planter on top of lowering it. There we go. Now it's making some noise. So let me go out this way. Oh, I like the fact, I don't know, I guess we'll see how this all plays out, but it appears to be a pretty fast planter too at 11. Maybe they all are that quick, I don't know. But in any event, we've got some corn going in the ground. Looks like we're getting some rain later. I don't think that's going to impact us. It shouldn't for planting. Not quite sure why we're getting the stutter, but I was unable to get into the server. That was also part of the reason for the late start. So I had to ask the server stability group to check into that. So they did just reset the server in the last 30 minutes, so it's possible maybe startup processes, things like that, are still running along. I don't know. But in any event, you know, we've got kind of what we've got here. All right. So, I guess I'll do a second pass. It won't really hurt on the way back, just to be certain. This is really struggling to pull this thing. But, let's see. So, let me get our GPS set up. So there we go, and then we'll, as always, start on this side and move across. That seems to be the way I've started working this. I want to make sure I'm going at an angle here that works. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what these weird blotches or rows, and actually maybe that's the fertilization that doesn't need to be touched. I guess I better check on that before I keep going, because there is a possibility here that this is not applying things as I would like. Now, I don't know that there's a whole lot I can do about that, but it's certainly a learning opportunity for all of us to see how things are progressing. So yeah, these rows are obviously very different looking than the rows we had for the potatoes. I definitely want to, you know, stop the planter and so forth, because otherwise we, right, do my favorite dots. Alright. I don't know, I just wish there was a way to set it that way, and maybe they feel there is a way to set it that way. Use the version with the solid lines, because that's what they want you to do. I don't know. But obviously they added in this option, I'm sure, to some degree because of user preference. Alright, so let's take a look at the map real quick here. So, what is it showing me? I don't understand. Don't tell me I need to roll again. goodness, really? Alright, so the rolling ahead of planting doesn't help. Alright, so we'll turn off needs rolling. Alright, but we are getting the fertilization. Wow. Alright, so I get to redo the rolling. I should be okay with that, other than just the frustration of it, but wow. Alright. Well, we know for the upper part of the field, at least, don't waste our time rolling early. Just verify, but I'm sure if I go here, yep, needs rolling. Ah, boy, oh boy. If only I knew, but I didn't. Alright, good news is we can easily see what is happening. So, it's always part of the learning as we're progressing, is really trying to understand that sequence that works best for what we're doing. You know, the frustrating part, once again, is the fact that I'll need to roll again. But the good news, I guess, is it's a wide implement, and it doesn't, you know, it took, I think, like 15 or 20 passes to do the whole field, so it wasn't terrible. Yeah, obviously my count here is from where I turned on the GPS toward the other end. So in theory, I guess that means we've got, well, it's negative 20. I'm not sure if it'll count up the way I'm thinking, if it'll go to negative 19, because it almost seems like the next one would be negative 21, the way I'm used to it normally, but... So yeah, I would think the seeds will slow down a bit, but the problem is the fertilization does not. So you can see I'm currently consuming more fertilizer than I am seed, because obviously as I get less and less field here, I'm putting less seeds in the ground, but the fertilizer is not intelligent that way. And there's not an ability to do anything, and even if there was, it would be seeding and fertilizing, I think, would be limited, which I guess would work, but I think because the seeder monitors it itself, you know, it operates that way. We'll see now that we're going to do full rows, it's possible the seed will consume a little faster in the next go-round, but right now we've got a 5% differential, 6%, but now we're back to 5, so we'll see if that tightens or expands. Alright, get this over here. Try to be careful that we don't overplant like we did with the potatoes. But as you can see, the seeds weren't starting, but immediately as I power on the planter, the fertilizer starts to go. So, because yeah, now we've got a 6% differential, so that's not a great thing. But hopefully we'll get close there. And it clearly looks like we're going to need multiple fills of both components here. This is not a planter, even though it's the largest one available, that will even do the amount we need here. Now we have done a good amount of planting across the top too, so it's not as if we haven't planted a lot of corn, but I just would be, you know, it looks like we'll at least be refilling once. I'm hoping maybe we can get it by with 2 of those, but, you know, and the best thing would be that they'd empty very, very close to each other, but I'm not sure that that's going to happen. So, you know, pretty good process at this point. I'm certainly not feeling like I'm overwhelmed. I mean, I definitely would feel better if I hadn't spent the time rolling yesterday, thinking I was getting ahead, and then suddenly having to redo it now. I'm just surprised that it gives you that sequence if you really should plant first, but... And I suppose if I look at the map, well, I guess it doesn't really have planting in that sequence, because normally it kind of is a top to bottom in the order you need to go. So I was just seeing if somehow maybe I had missed something and that it was clearly below seeding, but it's not. So yeah, I'm not sure if, again, whatever those lines are, if those will ever quite go away. But you know, we'll see how the fields kind of go out over time. But yeah, we've definitely got a good amount of effort, but this is the best we can do with the 18 meter, a little over 18, I think it's 18.2 meter planter, and get things in. So calendar-wise, basically, you know, if we get things in, the hope is we'll be able to harvest right at the beginning. So my planting date for wheat, I'm going to target September. So then I'll basically have to plant roll, and then kind of harvest the next day down here. But that should be workable, because as long as I can keep myself to not having overlapping days or many, many days in sequence of things that I have to do that are time consuming. You know, and the difference here is we have to keep in mind, you know, it took, I think it was 4 hours to plant this field with potatoes. And I'm imagining, you know, we might be at a couple hours with this. It's probably going to be even less than that. You know, but once again, we've got to realize that that potato planter was significantly less width. So yeah, I'm somewhat perhaps thinking that maybe, you know, to do potatoes again, to at least A, keep providing, and secondly, utilize the equipment we spent all that money on. The best place, if I do that, would be that center section that's pretty small. You know, and that makes it at least a workable space. I mean, obviously we're going to get very, very little off there, because if we're, in essence, it's 65 acres here, and we think we're at 5 there, you know, it's less than a tenth. So, you know, we might get 150,000 liters. We're not going to get anything substantial off there. So it's almost not worth it. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I'll do something at some point. But just right now, I think it's too soon to feel supremely excited about jumping into that again. But no, it is counting down. So where we started our GPS, which I think was obviously coming back across, so we're going to have some rows for certain, probably at least 4 or 5 rows beyond that, but you know, we might be looking at 25, you know, 30, 25 to 30 rows to get this field planted appropriately. just take a quick look at the map again. Because, yeah, we're not seeing those rows in the fertilizer, so at least like that is being handled. But what I'm thinking is perhaps because they were already marked as, you know, if you look at that ahead of us here, you know, like they're already saying that they're fertilized. And so what that may just be indicating is the fertilizer isn't, the field state isn't changing into a state of fertilized there because it's already at max fertilization. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done. You know, I'll obviously come back. I'm just going to include it. I'm not going to create a separate video this time for rolling. I'll just include a few minutes at the end, kind of so you can see the time, see what's happening. Obviously, again, it's so close that, you know, I'm not going to repeat that as an episode. And we'll do that work because, again, we'll be doing it again with wheat in a bit. So we can separate it out there where we obviously are in a different area of the field. So I'll see you in a bit. So what would a day at the farm be without something totally unplanned happening? So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, can I not unload? Interesting. Even more challenging. What I'm trying to do is get rid of this herbicide. I just don't know that I'm going to need it, is my problem. I hate to put up a tank if I don't need to store it, because I'm clearly going to need liquid fertilizer. I've gone ahead, put in the tank, just bite the bullet, because I'm assuming I'm going to need it. I don't know for certain, but... So, let's see. Why is it not? It was like letting me fill, but do I need to? This would be very disappointing if I can't fill it with herbicide as I had anticipated. Because if I can't get rid of this, like that's going to create a whole different okay, start overloading. There we go. Alright, so at this point, I need to go get liquid fertilizer because I'm out. So I am going to get as much as I can, bring it back, and continue on. Unbelievable. This is crazy. I was able to get a full tanker, but I can't get any traction and move. But I am literally stuck. I'm moving. Come on. Oh, I don't understand. Alright, well, lesson learned. I don't know what I'm going to have to do here. Alright, so what I've literally done is I have put my truck into manual mode to keep the gear down so that it can pull, and that is what I am trying to do at this point. Yeah, see, it's like, oh my goodness. Really? It can't pull even here. Alright, I'm gonna keep working on it. So here I am with plan Q. Alright, so I got that off the bridge. Oh my god. So I got it done, but it was not enjoyable. If I had been speaking, I would have had to bleep everything out. Alright, so last pass on the corn. There we go. Get this folded up, repaired, cleaned up, put away. And to just think, this day isn't even over yet. I get to roll the field. Wow. So, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get all the stuff put away that I needed to bring out to try to get the tanker home. Crazy so far, just crazy. So, I'll see you at the end of the rolling. So, as the thunder rolls, we are done rolling. How's that for a connection? But yeah, at this point, we are finished. Even though it's claiming somehow we're not, but I don't know. I don't know why that little piece was showing up there, but in any event, we are finally done for today. So, thanks for tagging along. Hope you enjoyed the fun with the liquid fert. If nothing else, definitely something you don't see everywhere else. So, hope to see you all back. Subscribe so you get notified of new videos. And certainly like the videos so that they get shared more and we can get more folks viewing and just have a lot more fun with it. So I will see you next time.